everything you believed about Lil Scrappy and Bambi's relationship turned out to be a lie? What if, behind the scenes of reality TV grins and perfectly curated Instagram clips, a secret was lurking, one so powerful it rattled Scrappy to his core? That very secret has now burst into the spotlight, and Lil Scrappy is unraveling for all the world to witness. But here's the real shocker: this hidden child. It wasn't just speculation. It was fact, and the truth is even messier than anyone could have imagined. Stick around, because this scandal is far from over. So what exactly went down between Lil Scrappy and Bambi? Just when fans thought their turbulent relationship was finally finding its footing, a jaw-dropping revelation flipped their entire world upside down. A concealed child, a tangled web of secrets, and a very public breakdown that left fans everywhere reeling. In today's video, we're digging deep into the truth behind the tabloid chaos, revealing how the shocking news of Bambi's alleged secret child sent shockwaves through Scrappy's life, and what this could mean for a relationship that was already hanging by a thread. We'll break down the timeline of Bambi's long-kept secret and how it managed to stay hidden for so long, the emotional impact on Scrappy, caught on camera, the internet's fiery response, and the real reason this might be the final nail in the coffin for their already fragile connection. You won't believe who had known about this the whole time and just how close this scandal came to never seeing the light of day.
Believe me, this isn't just drama. It's an emotional roller coaster in every sense of the word. So grab your popcorn, because by the time this video ends, you'll understand why this isn't just a breakup story. It's a complete emotional collapse. And the next chapter? It's about to get even messier than anyone could have predicted. Before the emotional unraveling, before the trending hashtags, and before the internet erupted with accusations of betrayal, there was a love story, or at least the illusion of one. Lil Scrappy and Bambi Benson. Both seasoned reality TV personalities, they were once seen as one of love and hip-hop's most unshakable couples. Scrappy, the southern rapper with a tough shell and a soft center, had earned a reputation for loyalty, despite his history of messy relationships and past entanglements. And Bambi? She was the fierce, no-nonsense queen who matched his fire, challenged his choices, and stood behind his dreams. Their connection was magnetic. From unforgettable reality TV scenes to heartfelt Instagram posts, they gave the world a portrait of a couple who had weathered the storm and come out stronger. Fans rooted for them, even during the chaos, loud arguments, brief splits, and family interference. In 2017, they tied the knot. Shortly after the couple welcomed their first child together, more children followed. In total, they had 3 beautiful kids, creating what seemed to be a blended and loving family. But behind the polished photo ops and those glowing red carpet smiles, something deeper was brewing, something that wasn't visible to the public eye. Behind the scenes, their relationship had been quietly falling apart. Rumors swirled, cheating, emotional distance, and a growing sense of resentment slowly began creeping into the spotlight. Yet neither Scrappy nor Bambi ever directly confirmed anything. Like so many celebrity couples, they appeared to be holding it all together, for the brand, for the children, and for the cameras. But this is exactly where the calm fades and the chaos begins. Because while fans were watching what looked like a carefully curated love story unfold, a storm was gaining strength behind closed doors. And the first bolt of lightning? A cryptic post. A single, puzzling post that hinted at a truth even the most loyal fans couldn't have anticipated. Some secrets just don't stay hidden forever. One now-deleted comment appeared under Bambi's latest Instagram post. At the time, most viewers brushed it off as a troll seeking attention. But looking back, that comment marked the start of everything falling apart. Think you've heard the full story? Think again, because next, we uncover the existence of the child Bambi never publicly mentioned, and how it shattered everything Scrappy thought he knew. It began as whispers. A few gossip blogs picked up an anonymous tip. Someone from Bambi's past was allegedly planning to come forward with shocking claims. And it wasn't about infidelity. It wasn't about finances. It was about a child. A child that wasn't Scrappy's. A child Scrappy reportedly didn't even know existed. At first, the story seemed too far-fetched to believe. Fans doubted it. Bambi had always appeared to be a fiercely devoted wife and hands-on mother, outspoken about family, protective of her kids. But then, the receipts started rolling in. Screenshots, old photographs, Facebook posts, And then came the bombshell. A woman claiming to be related to the child went live in a messy stream, alleging that Bambi had a child from a previous relationship. A child she had never acknowledged publicly and had never told Scrappy about during the early stages of their marriage. And here's the twist. This wasn't a baby or toddler. According to the alleged relative, the child was old enough to remember being left out of Bambi's new life. Let that sink in. This wasn't about a child given up under tragic circumstances or placed for adoption. This was reportedly a living, growing child, watching from the sidelines as Bambi lived out a seemingly perfect life on TV, raising her new children, while allegedly pretending he didn't exist. Then came the photos. At first, they were blurry, hard to make out, but soon they became clearer, a young boy who bore an uncanny resemblance to Bambi. That's when social media sleuths kicked into high gear, and the side-by-side comparisons became too striking to dismiss. The facial structure, the expressions, even the eyes looked identical. The theory gained traction fast. This was Bambi's hidden child. But the real drama didn't hit until Scrappy himself reacted. Not through words, but with silence. The kind of heavy, unsettling silence that says more than a statement ever could. Scrappy, who's usually active online, suddenly went dark. No posts, no stories. He even pulled out of a scheduled podcast appearance and was noticeably MIA from public events. And when he finally did speak up, it wasn't in a polished press release. It was during a raw, tear-filled live stream. His eyes welled with tears as he spoke straight to his followers. You live your whole life thinking you know someone, thinking you built something real. Then one day, you realize you were just a guest in their story. That's pain. Fans were floored. Scrappy didn't drop names, but he didn't need to. The heartbreak in his voice said everything. Then, the pieces began falling into place. Sources close to the family shared that Scrappy had only recently uncovered the truth, through someone else, not Bambi. Word is, he confronted her about it, and things went downhill fast. One insider alleged that Bambi defended her choice to keep the child a secret by saying she was protecting her peace, and claimed the child had a calm, stable life outside the chaos. But to Scrappy, it felt like a punch to the gut.
Not because she had a past, but because she deliberately kept a major part of her life from him. For years, while he was giving his all to their family, that unspoken truth sat like a ticking time bomb beneath their marriage the entire time. How do you trust someone again after that? Scrappy asked, struggling to keep his composure during the live stream. But here's the thing, it only got worse. Because what Scrappy uncovered next sent him spiraling even deeper. And we'll break that down in the next section. Just know if you thought the hidden child was the full story. Not even close. Up next, we break down the emotional collapse, the reactions from fellow celebrities, and how Scrappy's own mother, Mama D, jumped headfirst into the drama, bringing receipts of her own. The truth had been exposed. The damage was done. But no one, not even the most loyal fans, were ready for the raw, unfiltered emotion that poured out of Lil Scrappy in the aftermath.
This wasn't just another typical celebrity breakup anymore. This was a man unraveling, drowning under the weight of betrayal, confusion, and the sting of public humiliation. Scrappy, who usually held tight to his tough guy persona, began posting erratic messages late at night. One post read, "Y'all ever realize you didn't lose her? You just finally saw who she really was." Then came the now infamous IG Live meltdown, streamed unexpectedly around 2 a.m. No promo, no heads up, just raw emotion. The world watched as Scrappy, sitting alone in a dimly lit studio, tried to articulate his pain, but couldn't quite get the words out. His voice cracked, his hands shook. He stared into the camera for a long, heavy moment, then finally whispered, "I built everything around her. I gave up people, chances, time, and now I feel like I don't even know who I married." This wasn't just heartbreak, it was grief. The kind of grief that hits when you realize the family you thought was real might have never been. And just as fans were still trying to process that emotional gut punch, Mama D, Scrappy's bold, unfiltered mother, entered the chat, and true to form, she didn't come quietly. Within hours of Scrappy's emotional livestream, Mama D went full scorched earth on Instagram. First, she posted a cryptic quote, "Lies don't age well, especially when receipts exist." Then came a video montage, yes, a literal montage, of old family photos, paired with captions like, "The truth always surfaces," and what appeared to be screenshots from past text exchanges between her and Bambi. In one of the alleged messages, Bambi reportedly told Mama D to stay out of her personal past, hinting there were things she didn't want dragged into the spotlight for the sake of peace. That phrase again, for the sake of peace. But Mama D wasn't here for peace anymore. She jumped on a live stream with her followers and let loose. My son was lied to, period. Lied to for years. Y'all don't even know the half of it. And I kept quiet, for him. But now, I'm done being silent. According to Mama D, she had known about the child all along. But out of respect for her son's marriage, she had stayed silent, even when she didn't agree with it. She went even further, claiming she'd urged Bambi years ago to tell Scrappy the truth before walking down the aisle. I told her, your past don't define you, but secrets destroy marriages. And then, she says, Bambi looked her straight in the eye and said, it's handled. That single word has echoed across every blog, headline, and podcast ever since. Now, with receipts circulating, emotional confessions pouring out, and public outrage blazing across the internet, the tide started turning against Bambi. Comment sections exploded with reactions like, how do you hide an entire child? And Scrappy deserves so much better. Others added, this explains everything that's been off in their marriage from the start. But here's the twist. Not everyone was rallying behind Scrappy. Some voices online began to raise eyebrows at the timing of his emotional breakdown. A few speculated whether Scrappy was leveraging the drama to stir sympathy, especially with other rumored business or legal issues looming. And then there were those defending Bambi, suggesting that the child might have been hidden due to deeper reasons: trauma, custody battles, or even unhealed personal wounds. Was she wrong? Or was she simply protecting herself and her child? The internet couldn't decide. But one thing stood out loud and clear. Scrappy was crushed, Mama D was furious, and whatever illusion of a perfect family they had built was crumbling. Maybe for good. Still think it couldn't get more chaotic? Buckle in, because next up is Chapter 4, the fallout, divorce, custody, and reputations hanging in the balance. What really happened behind those courthouse doors? And who walked away with more than just a broken heart? You won't believe who showed up and what they had to say. After the emotional collapses and those explosive IG lives, there was no putting the pieces back together. The internet had already drawn battle lines. Fans were either heartbroken for Scrappy or side-eyeing Bambi's silence. But for Scrappy and Bambi, the battle was no longer just emotional, it was legal. Because mere days after Scrappy's now viral live stream, court documents hit the internet, confirming what many had suspected. Scrappy had filed for divorce. And he wasn't planning to leave quietly. Insiders close to the situation revealed that Scrappy's legal team was preparing to push for full or joint custody of their 3 children, claiming that Bambi's history of secrecy and intentional deception had severely fractured the trust in their home. And it didn't stop there. Scrappy's team was also reportedly compiling documentation of emotional damage, arguing that Bambi's decision to keep the alleged child hidden had triggered serious mental health struggles for him. A source connected to Fulton County Court told one blogger, this isn't just about a hidden kid anymore. It's about trust, parental fitness, and whether or not Bambi's decisions are affecting the well-being of the kids they do share. And that's when things escalated even further. Bambi didn't just stand her ground. She hit back hard. She brought in her own legal firepower and filed a motion of her own, accusing Scrappy of emotional manipulation and using public slander to sway public opinion and damage her character. Her legal team argued that any child from a past relationship was irrelevant before the marriage, and that Bambi had every right to keep that chapter of her life private, especially if she believed it was in her child's best interest. They claimed that disclosing the child's identity could put them at risk of public harassment, media exposure, and unwanted scrutiny. But as the drama continued to unfold, the public wasn't buying it. Online investigators began resurfacing old clips from Love and Hip Hop, where Bambi had once made subtle comments about leaving certain things behind and not wanting to revisit her past. Fans rewatched those clips with a new perspective, and it only added more fuel to the growing fire of speculation. Then came the co-parenting issues. Scrappy reportedly pushed for changes to their custody arrangement, requesting more time with the kids and demanding that all exchanges be conducted in public or with a third-party mediator. According to sources, he told friends he no longer felt he could trust her with his peace of mind. And of course, you already know who had to speak up again, Mama D. In a now-deleted tweet, she wrote, "A snake sheds its skin, but it's still a snake. That's all I'm gonna say." She didn't mention Bambi by name, but the message was loud and clear. Fans instantly connected the dots and ran with it. Meanwhile, Scrappy's emotional state continued to unravel right in front of the public. He began skipping scheduled appearances, distancing himself from brand partnerships, and even purged several Instagram posts, including pictures of him, Bambi, and their children. In one particularly worrying post, he simply wrote, "Everything I believed in was a lie. Pray for me." Friends close to the couple say that despite the backlash and growing tension, Scrappy still hoped for a peaceful outcome, for the sake of the kids. Inside, he was deeply conflicted. Not because he hated Bambi, but because he still loved the woman he thought he had married. And that's what makes this whole situation hit so hard. This wasn't a typical cheating scandal, it wasn't about money or fame. It was about trust, identity, and the kind of betrayal that comes from silence. The kind that stays long after the lights and cameras are gone.
But here's what most people aren't talking about. There's talk that Bambi may have been under pressure to keep the child hidden, that the decision wasn't entirely her own. One circulating theory suggests that an ex from her past may have threatened her with legal consequences or even personal retaliation if she tried to include the child in her new life. Some insiders even claim that the child's father is a recognizable name, someone who allegedly wanted no ties to any reality TV drama. So was Bambi truly protecting herself and the child from something deeper? Or was she just trying to erase old baggage for the sake of a fresh start? We may never know for sure, but what we do know is this: Scrappy's heart is shattered, the family is torn apart, and the internet has no plans of letting this story fade anytime soon. And just when it seemed like this couldn't possibly spiral any further, someone new stepped into the spotlight.